you know, all I'm going to say is it was better and more enjoyable than Book of Boba Fett. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, Book of Boba Fett's just like a travesty. Like, what a mess that show was.
Yeah.
Did you ever even finish that?
No, I did not.
You didn't miss anything, let me tell you. Well, it's like episodes 4 and 5 are basically just like season 3 of The Mandalorian, which is like, it's kind of good, but I'm not watching it because Book of Boba Fett's good at this point. It's because I get a free episode of The Mandalorian, a show that I like.
Right. Yeah. And that's what I heard is like, oh, wow, these episodes is when it gets really good. I was like, oh, so when it turns into The Mandalorian, it turns good. Like,
yeah, exactly.
That.
No.
So yeah. And unlike that, because I also think that just looking at the rap sheet here, when they go back and they try to fill in a gap that is, you know, there on the timeline, so to speak, but not really a necessity to kind of fill like they did with Boba Fett's character. It was like, well, that didn't work. That was kind of crap. So then when Obi-Wan was coming along, I was like, oh, God, I hope it doesn't kind of follow in the footsteps and just take away the mystery or idea or suspense of what happened in that in-between. Because what happened in Book of Boba Fett, where they talked about that little bit in between there, between...
where he was like with the Tuscans?
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we didn't, like, there's always been this, like, it's canon that he's still alive and all this. And I'm like, okay, sure, let's keep, yeah. Part of the cool thing about Boba Fett was that he was mysterious and very blunt. Didn't have many lines. He was just cool, man. And you were like, what's up with that dude? He looks like a badass.
Yeah.
But we lose
like,
so
he's a
much
cool
of that.
helmet. Like, that's kind of what he is.
Yeah. It's like, and then you just, you know, you take all that away, and you strip it down, and then you turn him into a wannabe good guy in this made-up Star Wars mafia, again, on the fucking sand planet, because we have nowhere else to go in the whole damn place. Yeah,
Well,
it just
like,
didn't really work.
If you want to do Unforgiven with Boba Fett, that's cool, but then you have to be willing to make Boba Fett a bad person still, right?
Right, yeah.
Like, Unforgiven works because he's, like, this murderer who wanted to be better and is like, you know what, nah, I don't know. Or, like, if you want it to be a mob movie, that's fine, but then you need to be willing to let him, like, put bodies in acid.
Yeah, I was like, come on, man, let's do, like, you know, some hardcore shit. Like, not just like, I'm going to rule with justice and equity now. Like, what? When did you become Jesus Christ? Like, huh? What? I went out and I lived with the Sand People and I learned how to become a good man. I'm like, oh, God, give me a break, for crying out loud, man.
Yeah, exactly.
What? But we can't have bad guys.
Well, and it's
bad
like,
guys are the main characters.
Well, and that's actually, like, I'm fine with that on a certain level, where it's like, okay, I'm Disney, I'm not going to make a show that children will watch that has, like, bad main characters. Fine. Then why are you making a Boba Fett show? Make a different show.
Yeah, then do something else. Like, you don't have to do this.
Like, there are no bad characters in any of the new Star Wars properties. Everybody's a good person.
Yeah.
They're just on opposite teams, which is like now, like, okay, this is a good person who works for the Empire. It's like, oh, cool, the proto-space Nazis have good people on their side. No, you're a fucking space Nazi. You are a bad person.
It's like, okay, I think we've only established that the grand evils of that entire saga are as follows. Emperor Palpatine and Grand Moff Tarkin. and that's it.
Yeah, like we're fine with Grand Moff Tarkin being a bad person until we remake his origin, where he was beat as a child and just wanted Daddy Emperor to approve of him.
Like, Peter Cushing played Van Helsing for too many years, and he was neglected. You should feel bad for him. Now he is Grand Moff Tarkin, exacting his revenge. Like,
on all the people who didn't do right by him. Whatever.
no, yeah, I mean that's kind of where it is now, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, everybody's just like, oh, well, you know what? I am actually good. I'm a good person now. Like, Kylo Ren, Reva,
Yeah.
Darth Vader,
Mm-hmm.
like, all the epitome bad of bad is just like, yeah,
Well,
no.
and like you have that set up as a trend because George Lucas was like,
Master Skywalker, there are too many of them. What are we going to do?
like I hate to keep coming back to that, but that's not like a little thing, right? You know?
Yeah.
So like it's George Lucas's fault. Like I'm not gonna say it's Disney who solely fucked this up. Like it's been a problem since the prequels.
Well, I don't even know if that's necessarily all a problem. I think maybe he did like jump overboard and wanted to show how far he had fallen to be seduced by power, right? And so that's fine. You know, that's fine. I'm not justifying the killing of children, by the way. I'm just saying, in a metaphorical comment there, that's what he was getting at. And that's,
Well, sure.
okay, fine. Okay, yeah.
But not
Artistic
every
liberty
character can be that now.
But yes, exactly. The problem is that it's like, okay, now we've invented the wheel. Let's just keep using the same design over and over again and not really improve upon it. And that's where it's inherently flawed, is that it's just kind of, we don't really have anything else to do, so we're just going to take this regurgitated formula and regurgitate it again. And we're going to like kind of maybe rearrange it a little bit and give it a different paint job, and then they'll never know. But they probably will, but they'll eat it up anyway. And that's, you know, admittedly, even this show was that. Like, it was still that. Like, I think I sent you a message at one point. I was like, how many times are we going to see the fucking princess damsel in distress kidnapped and needs to be rescued from an Imperial fucking starship space battle galactic base?
Something that has black hallways.
and dudes in white suits that are totally oblivious to anything around them.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
how many times are we going to beat that dead horse over and over again? Well, I mean, we're going to keep doing it because it works. Yeah. And I think that's been the biggest issue for years. I think so many fans are crying for it, and then we get chastised about it.
Yeah.
And it's... We're just looking at this saying, look, what they did here in this show was fine, and it was better than what some other content has been. But the fact still remains is that we've got novels and expanded canon and lore and all of that, like, galore. It's all over, and it's vast, and it's huge.
And there's some really good
so
stuff in
many
it, you know?
things. There's so much now, because when they started it and it took off, and then now everything is just branched out into this big, huge tree of Star Wars. Everything that we have seen from the big screen kind of perspective and the live action perspective is always right here at the trunk. We never get really way out into the branched off portions that
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
could maybe loosely tie back to it, but you know, it's always this like, it's a big wide galaxy and this huge universe, and there's, you know, millions and billions of light forms and blah 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 blah, and all you can help think is like, really? Because you're not really selling that to me. Like, I keep seeing the same people, I keep seeing the same places, the same story beats, the same names, the same fucking species that are humans.
Literally,
Like,
literally.
over and over and over. It's like, guys, I know that you want this to feel like Star Wars, to feel authentic, but at least for me, and I know I'm stepping up on a big, huge soapbox here. I just keep climbing up, but at least for me, like Star Wars needs like a couple of things to feel like Star Wars, right? It's a genre that was kind of sci-fi has always been a genre that's been steeped in space and aliens and politics and social commentary, all those things.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah, yeah.
And Star Wars is no exception to that. I mean, it falls into that category. They're all kind of lumped together. Lucas was inspired by other sci-fi authors and writers at the time, and it was
Well, it's like
from
it was
resources
all
like that.
it was all sci-fi authors, but also just like myths, like ancient
and
myths.
mythology. Yeah, mythology, religion. I mean, it's super basic, bare bones building blocks that they could start with instead of creating something from these complex building blocks that have already been made and fleshed out and just repeating them over and over again. Like, well, all Jedi have to look this way. All spaceships have to look this way. All planets have to be, these few planets, and they have to be kind of like this similar design or this kind of thing for it to feel like Star Wars. And we have to have, this kind of a character and this kind of a story arc or background, et cetera, et cetera. The list goes on and on. And
well, and
I
it's
think
like, the
that's
problem
just-
is the list doesn't go on and on. Like they're just at this point going, what
It's-
was in the
it
first
goes
three
on
movies?
and on because it repeats. It
Well,
just
okay,
kind of
sure.
loops back on itself,
I'm
And,
just
I
I'm
think
totally
that's
with you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest kind of like complaint that so many of us have now. It's just like, okay, cool, Obi-Wan's a great character, and I think all of us were on board because we knew since like what 1998, 99 when that movie came out that he's great, he's
Yeah.
good. If anybody deserves something to keep on going, I mean, it's him, right?
Hmm.
But there's also that itch that hasn't been tickled by for anybody. It's like, where is the rest of the whole galaxy that we keep hearing about?
Hmm.
Because we thought we were going to get that with that new trilogy of movies, and it was a gotcha. Ha,
Yeah.
Actually, this is all tied in with everything else too. Like, fuck me. Like, it's like, even if it wasn't, and they're like, this isn't related at all because you see, it's the First Order, so that's different. Like, what?
Is
No,
it?
it isn't though.
It's a different
not.
stormtrooper toy.
It's a different paint job. Like, it's
Yeah.
the same thing, So I think that's the thing, is that the Star Wars market keeps getting saturated with the same thing.
There is only so much gas in this tank, and if you're going to like not riff on it at all or give us something interesting or change it, then you're gonna run out of gas and you're gonna have killed it.
Yeah.
And we're pretty much there for me at this point. Like,
Yeah.
I was talking with Ezra and he was getting like real mad about like how Obi-Wan was and how he hated it, and I was like, at this point I don't really care. Like, if it's bad, whatever. There's more bad Star Wars content than good Star Wars content at this point. Like, what are you gonna do? Who cares?
Yeah.
And I hate that's the case, but like that's the case for me. Like, because they've just, okay, how can we riff on these three ideas? And they've run out of ways to riff on it, and then they kept going anyway because it's a cash cow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's what it really comes down to, is that I think they just have to kind of keep touching back on something to tie it together so that it's like, oh, remember? You remember this? Aha! Aha! Yeah, see? Star Wars. Because, you remember?
Do you want to see the
fan
young
service?
Admiral Ackbar movie? No. If I'm being honest. Like, I appreciate the offer, but no, not really.
It was his parents were sold at a sushi market.
Admiral Ackbar was actually a bad person, but he decided to join good. And no, the beginning of the Admiral Ackbar movie is just the beginning of Finding Nemo.
It's just Hank the octopus like trying to run away, and then he fornicates with another octopus, like somewhat bipedal octopus thing that he finds, and then they spawn him.
Hey Ackbar, I'm gonna go get cigarettes. I'll be right back.
He's like, damn girl, you be looking like a snack bar, and then he hops on it, and then it's like 20 years later, snack bar turned into Ackbar.
I'm gonna change my name, man.
Admiral Ackbar movie. I want a movie about Bosk.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's just him running around like, yes. It's like a Planet Earth episode, but it's narrated by a lizard.
I want to watch him eat his siblings. It's like this beautiful birth scene, and then he just like eats all of them.
It's like the the frog things in the Mandalorian. Except
oh
he's one of
yeah.
them, and he's the strongest of the offspring, so he just starts eating them.
And,
Like,
and like his parents are like super proud. They're like, oh yeah, this is how this is supposed to go. Cause we're lizards, get it? Like they'll look into the camera. And then David Attenborough will narrate and go, the young boss decided to eat his siblings in the way of the lizard folk.
Oh god. Here we see the Bosk sunning on Tatooine. He has to keep his skin temperature regulated. It's just like cuts to him, and he's like in a man thong, sunbathing on a rock.
Oh my god!
So he's like sunbathing on a rock, and then it zooms out, and it's Obi-Wan. And it's using his binoculars. Like, oh dear!
Oh no!
What's that? He's like scrolling across, like the
yeah.
and then he like comes across it, goes, and it zooms in, and it's Bosk laying there, got his arms kicked up behind his head, and Obi-Wan's like, "Hello there."
Bosk winks at him and like does like that tongue slither that lizards do.
Oh god.
Mm.
And then a Tusken Raider pops up and smacks Obi-Wan.
Oh yeah, of course.
That's what actually happens.
Yeah. I was gonna mention earlier. I want to go through all of the canon Star Wars media and just count how many times Tatooine appears. Tatooine, this backwater planet that no one cares about. Like, I count Jakku in The Force Awakens. Like, Jakku is Tatooine. You can't tell me otherwise.
It's knockoff Tatooine.
Yeah, like, sorry guys.
That was before the gentrification happened. That's what they called the more rundown bit of Tatooine, and then it got colonized.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll just call this Tatooine 2. It's got sand.
Well, we built a Starbucks, and Tatooine is now Jakku.